Hey loves, how's it going? Hope all is well. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with a video based off a topic I seen on Instagram last night. It caused me to look up some certain things and just talk about business and marketing.
Aunt Jemima, our favorite grandmother, the pancake and syrup lady, the woman that we grew up on, was not actually created or owned by a black woman, but it was actually created by a white corporation called the RT Milling Company, and they thought that it would be a great marketing strategy to use a black woman in her face to be able to push sales into the black community so that they can make billions of dollars because they saw the opportunity. So they had her traveling across the country, flipping pancakes as a real actor and spokeswoman. And it sounds much like how they do when it comes to acting, playing football, rapping, and everything, where they write us a check for our talents, but they keep us out of the boardroom so that we don't got to talk about equity and ownership. And that's the reason why I'm very, very passionate about entrepreneurship and everybody having ownership. And I just want to encourage everybody, man, stop worrying about that check that they're going to give you, because the real money is on the back end and ownership that we're able to take, because black people are beginning to support one another, and we got to get that ownership back.
So if you don't know the story, the world famous Aunt was first introduced in the 19th centuries. The character was a part of the show, and this show basically had a lot of acts, dancing, and music. The inspiration for the world famous auntie came from a song called Old Aunt Jemima, written by a black performer named Billy in 1875. It was the staple of the show, and the song was based on a song sung by slaves. Journalists stated that the mammy-pictured female house slave was fat, middle-aged, dark-skinned, and undesirable. However, she was happy to serve, white, and always smiling. So the pancake mix began in 1889 when Chris Rudd and Charles Underwood bought a flour mill. Together they developed an idea of a self-rising flour that only needed water. Initially, it was called self-rising pancake flour. Rudd was inspired to rename the mix after attending one of the shows featuring Aunt Jemima. Rudd decided to use the name and the image of Aunt Jemima to promote the new pancake mix. However, Rudd and Underwood were unable to make the product successful, and in 1890 they sold the business to Davis Milling Company. The Davis Milling Company developed an advertising plan to use a real person to portray her, and that woman was found Nancy Green. Miss Green began to work with them. She was 56 at the time. Nancy Green debuted as the famous aunt at the 1893 World's Expo in Chicago. They put Nancy Green on display and gave her an act. She dressed as the Aunt Jemima character. She sang songs, cooked pancakes, and told romanticized stories about the Old South, a happy place for blacks and whites alike. By them adding green, it became a huge success. Her booths were always attracting so many people that police had to come and assign the crowds to keep moving. They received over 50,000 orders. By 1910, more than 120 million Aunt Jemima breakfasts were served annually, roughly equal to the population of the country. Green as Aunt Jemima was a success, and so successful that they renamed their company in 1914 as the Aunt Jemima Mills Company. The company marketing plan was brilliant. They weren't selling anything special. There was no secret recipes. They were just selling the ideal of a real-life mammy. Davis hired James Webb Young to create advertisements featuring her, a young team that came up with a new illustration for billboards to display. In 1933, the Quaker Oats Company hired a new person, Anna Robinson, to play Aunt Jemima at Chicago's World's Fair. And at that time, she was 350 pounds. She was much heavier than Green, and she was darker in complexion. The Quaker Oats loved her look. She became a celebrity into some people's eyes. They said that people were coming to the shows to take pictures with her, and she became famous for doing this. Famous to the point in the 50s, she had a restaurant in Disneyland. She had salt and pepper shakers made after her. She had dolls, bowls, everything made to the likeness of her. It wasn't until the late 50s, early 60s when the civil rights movement started to pressure them, and that made Quaker Oats company lighten Aunt Jemima's skin and made her look thinner in print images. In 1968, the company replaced her bandana with a headband, trimmed her waistline, and gave her a youthful image. They removed all the Southern plantation settings and she no longer had speaking roles. 1989, the company decided to, change it up again. They removed the headbands again. They replaced her dark and curly hair and they gave her pearl earrings. The company wanted to reposition the brand as a black working grandmother instead of the mammy. And in 1993, the company decided to feature Gladys Knight as the spokeswoman for the company. Now, the whole issue here is the fact that she was used for marketing and she was used for branding in order to make the company millions. She was not compensated what she was worth. And in 2014, her family sought after $2 billion.
They want $2 billion. Now, the family claims that the food giant promised to pay their great-grandmother a percentage of the profits.
When I looked up the royalties and I looked up the compensation, I don't feel these ladies were paid anything, or let alone a little of something. They use their name, their voice, and their likeness to sell their products and goods, but Quaker and PepsiCo said they were searching for contracts and they're still unable to find it, and they're not even sure they even existed. This is not the first or only company that used this type of marketing strategy, and that's why I wanted to bring it today, even regarding like Uncle Ben. The real person behind Uncle Ben was Frank Brown, and I'm not sure if this is true or not, but in the articles I read, they said that he only received $50 for his likeness to be used forever. Brown didn't fully understand just how popular the brand was going to be. So the conversation basically he was trying to talk about was marketing and branding, how we brand ourselves. We have so many young black entrepreneurs these days, and we're not believing in ourselves. We are only, jumping on bandwagons of certain things, but we're not really being creative anymore. We are creative people, and we need to learn that we can use our own imagery to brand ourselves and to brand our products. We have to stop thinking that we cannot do that. Look at how many people are now creating brands, especially large white-owned companies. They're creating brands based off the black hair community. You have companies like African Pride, African Best, Dr. Miracles, Afro Sheen, Soft and Beautiful, Cream of Nature. These are all white-owned brands with these Afrocentric names in order to get money in our communities. And then as far as marketing, they use people, African American people, as the face of it. And this isn't to knock the white-owned companies, because a lot of people use them. A lot of people still use them today. But this is just to show you guys that you can do this. Like, you can honestly create something great and use your own imagery. Don't get me started on the makeup companies like Black Radiance, Black Opal, Black Dove. These are white-owned companies as well. They sense a need in the market and they go out and they create. We have so many unique people on YouTube. I have seen in the past 2 years over 5 creators that ideas were stolen off of YouTube. Every time we put something out there, there will be a product out there to reflect it. Black girls, when they started on YouTube, they ain't just want to wear no regular wig. You know what they started doing? They started customizing their wigs. The first thing they started to do was plucking their wigs. Next thing you know, a wig company comes out with a pre-plucked wig. Want to know what they did next? Girls on YouTube, they started bleaching their closures. And now you could get a pre-bleached wig. Then you know what we started doing? Creating baby hairs. And guess what? Now you could buy a wig with baby hairs on it. They look at every single thing that you do and they market it from there. That's how they create. So stop thinking that you are not creative enough to push your own ideas. And not only that, you have to protect your ideas and make sure it's unique to you and unique to what you stand up for. And no, when you're a small brand, these companies, they are looking at you. They're trying to see what you're doing. When I came up with my own brand, I wanted it to be simple. But sometimes I look at companies like Super Scent that have, you know, the school supply brand. That's what her brand is based off. And the fact that she is a black woman making money and a lot of people love her products, it calls for Crayola to recreate their beauty line. It calls for Sephora to recreate their beauty line that looks exactly like the products that she put out. And I was watching her live one time of her and Crayola, and she was basically talking about how they made her change so much stuff.
Then they emailed again. They emailed again 4/19. It's follow-ups from our communications of July 2017, where you agreed to redesign your cosmetic brushes and cases to remove Crayola, Serpentine, and Chevron trademarks. We note that the cosmetic brushes has sufficiently been amended to remove the Serpentine design, and thank you for your assistance. We recently discovered, however, the box of crayons palette still got their trademark. So they basically saying these lines right here, they own this line. They own these lines. They own the green and yellow combo. That's what they own. They also made us change this on the gift card. Actually, to remove the design. So we removed it. So we changed, we changed that design as well. And we even sent them our new design so they can approve it before we even released it. So then, because they don't see young, they don't see indie brands. So then they wrote again. Just wanted to pass along the online comments we have seen. They seen it. But but they don't see independent brands. According to black folks feel like because you're a small brand, people don't see you. I just wanted to assure you that Crayola does not wish to cause any damage to your business or to downplay your creativity. We are grateful for how considerate you have been with our request to distinguish your brand and packaging from our trademarks. We are very pleased to see your entrepreneur drive pay off. Crayon wishes you continued and colorful success. No matter how petty we may feel it be, they own them lines. If they own it, just like if you own some and somebody trying to use you on their brand, you want them to change it. Them people could have sued me. Them people could have, for this palette right here, they own a green and yellow combo. Them people could have sued me. And not only just sued me and made me change it, but they could have been like, you know what? I want all that money that you made for them palettes too, because that was our brand. They didn't.
In closing, I just wanted to make this video so you guys can see the importance of marketing. And not only that, but knowing that you can market as a black woman or a black man, you can market yourself. Don't think that you can't, or don't think because of these European looks and these beauty standards that you can't do it. White companies have been doing it all along, okay? And black people are buying it as well as everyone else. So you can do it for yourself, but make sure you're protecting yourself and making sure that when you're marketing yourself, that you are being true to who you are. And don't lower your value. It's so many companies out here, you guys will be surprised, that see your talents and see your gifts and see your potential before you do. And that causes people to sell themselves short. It causes them to sell their companies. I know a lot of people right now in negotiations with companies, small little indie, black owned brands in negotiation for companies. And they want 80% of their company and their brand. So just know your worth and know what you're all about, because y'all, it's getting real out here. It really is. Like, it's a lot of companies that are popping up and popping out. And it's a lot of people that are investing into the black person's idea. But don't sell yourself short. Learn about advertising, learn about marketing, learn about stocks, learn about investors, learn about investments, learn all these things, taxes, whatever you need to do. You need to learn it in order to navigate yourself better. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Talk to you guys later. Bye.